So this is one of my favorite dishes to make. I love this mojo pork. It is so tasty, tender. It has a nice flavor to it, kind of on the sweet and the tangy side because of the citrus that's in it. And then it also has a very nice, just clean, fresh feeling to it. A clean, fresh taste to it, let me say that. But this is an easy dish to make, and I'm sure if you make it once, you're gonna be making it again because this dish is lovely. All right, so let's get into cooking. So as you see here, I have my pork roast. It's already taken out of the bag. It's already cleaned and everything and washed off. And so I'm gonna take it out of the pot, and then we're gonna add some of this good old mojo marinade. And I bought this on Amazon. It's a gallon of it, and I'm telling you, it is a very tasty marinade to have. So once you get this marinade poured in, then you're gonna add your pork on top of it. Look at that. Nice big chunks of pork. You got some of the fat on there. That's gonna give some really good flavors. I love cooking it this way because it gets to the point to where it's so nice and tender when it's done, and the flavor that you get from the pork fat, it even makes it even better. All right, so I'm gonna pile it all in here real good. And then after that, I'm gonna pour some more marinade on top. And then after I get it in there, I'm going to let it sit for about 24 hours in the refrigerator, just so those flavors can get in there really good. Now, I'm not gonna get too technical about the marinade. This is just the way that it's done, but you can do this in under 24 hours. I'll say that. It doesn't have to marinate for 24 hours, but for me, for this recipe, I'm trying to get as much flavor in the pork as I can. So I'm doing it for 24 hours. Now I'm putting the lid on there, and it's time to put this in the refrigerator for 24 hours. 24 hours later, it's time to tie the pork up with some cooking string, and we're gonna tie it up kind of like you would tie a beef roast. I just want to make sure that it's all nice and tight, and so that way all the flavors can kind of rotate around as it's cooking in the oven. So first, of course, you're gonna need some cooking string, and I'm gonna speed up this part of the video because I just want you to see how I tie it. You can tie it any way you want as long as it's tied up and it's nice and packed together. Now for my roast is boneless, so I have that extra flap, as you can see right here. So I'm gonna have to kind of maneuver it around so that way I can get it tied up. So there are some pockets in between the tie-in, as you can see, because I'm overlapping the meat. So there's gonna be some juices and some air circulating in there, so it should cook up really nice. That's the ideal of it. Let me move this around. I'm trying to figure out where the bone was cut out, and so I'm trying to fill it in. I think this looks about right. All right, let me speed it up a little bit. Now, I'm not a pro at tying roasts and meat like that, so I'm kind of just winging it right here, but you get the idea of it. You know, you just want to make sure you tie it up really good so that way the meat doesn't fall apart as it's cooking. You want it to come out kind of like a roast. All right, so I got the first one done. Now it's time to get the second one tied up. And I bought these roasts at Costco. They have really good prices. At least here in Nevada, they have good prices on their pork most of the time. So this right here cost me under $20, I believe, for both of them. And they're pretty decent size. All right, now after we get them all tied up, I'm gonna throw these babies on the smoker so that way they can get some really nice smoke. Now I'm not using a mesquite or hickory type wood. I'm just gonna use simple apple wood because I like the clean, fresh flavor that the apple wood has. So I'm gonna roast it for about 30 minutes with the smoker at 425 degrees, and then I'm gonna drop it, and then I'm gonna cook it until the meat reaches the temperature. All right, while it's in there, I'm gonna make some black beans. I'm gonna add the drippings from the pork into the black beans once it's cooked up. All right, let's get this onion chopped up. I love technology. I can just fast forward through all of this real quick. I wish I really could cut this quick. All right, so I'm gonna take the onions and I'm gonna put them in the skillet so that way I can kind of saute them up a little bit, get them kind of transparent and cooked up some. Look at that, looks tasty. And then I'm gonna add it into the pot because we're gonna cook this up real good with the black beans. All right, we got the onions in there. Now it's time to add some of these black beans, and the black beans have been soaking for a couple hours, so that way they cook up a little bit faster. And I'm going to do a video about, you know, the right way to cook beans, and does it really matter how long you soak the beans, and what's the best time to soak them. All right, so I'm going to add the black beans in here on top of the onions. And when the beans are done, hopefully the ideal is to get the beans done right on time when it's time to cut the pork. All right, so the pork is done. Now I'm going to add the pork drippings to the beans, as I said I would. Now the beans are pretty much done at this point, and the pork is done. I'm just going to let the beans cook up a little bit more so it can take in some of that flavor of the pork and the marinade. And ta-da, there we go. Smoked pork. Cannot go wrong with that. Look at that. The nice char on it. Doesn't that look beautiful? The color, the smell, the taste, the nice bark that's on the edges of it and on the top of it. Can't go wrong with it. Trying to get my camera to zoom in, not zoom in, but give me a clearer picture of the meat so you can see that smoke ring on there. And it's a very light smoke ring because I'm using a light wood, which is the apple wood, to smoke the meat. So it's not a deep smoke ring that's going to show up on there. And if you're wondering what type of grill I used my Traeger grill to smoke. Sometimes I use my charcoal grill, but in this case, I'm using my Traeger. And now it's time to slice some of this meat up and put the pork into a deep dish and put it in the oven to keep it warm. Look at that, little chunks. The pork going into the black beans. The beans are going to be tasty. All right. So we got the rice ready. I use my rice cooker because I am not good at cooking rice on the stovetop. And look at that. The black beans with the chunks of pork and onion in there, and that flavor it's going to have from the sauces from the pork being cooked up. Look at that. It smells so good. All right, now it's time to reveal the pork once again. It's been sitting in the oven, staying warm. Ta-da! Look at that. Beautiful. Smells so good. And for some reason, I can't stop staring at it. So that's probably why you see it like this. And I hope you enjoyed the view too, because this smells so good. And I can't wait for you to make it because I want to know how yours came out and if you added anything extra or did anything different for yours. All right, time to make a plate. And I have some friends over at the house, so they're kind of waiting on me. You know, they're in the front room and they're like, ooh, that smells so good. You can't hear them say it, but they're like, that smells so good. I can't wait to eat. But yeah, gotta finish the video first, guys. Then we can all eat. Nice and tender. This came out so good. Putting the rice down there. Some black beans on the side and on top of the rice, just a little bit on top of the rice. Then of course you can top it off with some cilantro, and if you want to add some pepper and salt to it, you know, but I just want you to see this dish. This is a dish you have to make. All right, so that's it, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and set your notifications. And hey, if you make this dish, let me know. I want to know how it came out, because I love when you guys cook something and you guys let me know what you did, what you didn't do, And if there was any errors, or if I messed up on the video and left something out or should have added something, I love it when you guys participate in my cooking videos. All right, be bold and be safe and be bold, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.